people's different point of views, experiences. We're not talking about real estate all the time. We just talk about in general and how we function our business in general and how to be better. I think that's the most important thing. It's like how to be better, how to in our everyday lives. I think for me, that's the most important thing. And sharing. I think there's so much sharing in here that's so much important. So you don't feel alone, that you're not the only person that's going through that situation, that someone is sharing your same experiences and how you can learn from everyone.
Man, I love it. I love it. Thank you very much. Let's do this. Carmen, are you on the line?
I sure am. Good morning.
Hi, Carmen. So every group coaching, we have somebody bring us on the field and then bring us off the field. Are you ready to bring us on the field?
Let's go. Yes, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. So
I still
Carmen
got that pre-workout. I'm kidding.
My skin is tingling, but I'm ready to go. I remember taking a pre-workout once that had a thermogenic in it. I don't need a thermogenic, right? I run pretty high octane and I'm like trying to sleep and like I'm getting woke up by like beads of sweat because my core was so hot. All right. So other than that, anything else to bring us out on the field, Carmen?
No, just want everybody to, it's only Wednesday. We still got several days to go. And, days are just days of the week in real estate. So make sure you handle them all. Let's go. Let's get it.
Oh, beautiful. Awesome. All right, guys. So we talked a little bit about, the 4 quadrants the other day. We talked a little bit about that. We're going to do a recap in just a couple minutes on that on our Monday call. But I want you guys to do something for me really quick, and we're not going to watch the video right now, but I want you to have it in queue in YouTube. I want you to download the video, or just queue it up for later to watch. And Damian, you've probably seen this. Reggie Miller scores 8 points in 9 seconds. I want you to just pull that video up. We're not going to watch it right now because the audio gets a little distorted when I play videos. But I just want you to have that on cue. So please let me know when you have found that video. I'll wait a second. Just give me a thumbs up or give me a reaction when you found that video.
What was the name of it again, Hawaii?
It is Reggie Miller scores 8 points in 9 seconds.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right. So why in the world would I talk about this? Damian, being in the basketball world, why do you think I bring this story up to start group coaching today?
It is the ultimate a testament to never giving up. Like, you might think that it's over, and this relates to real estate in a huge way now that I think about it, because you might be in an escrow where things are really challenging, or in a situation with a buyer or whatever, and you just think it's really challenging and you're not going to get the job done and you're not going to see the light of day. And if you keep going, you have an opportunity to get a win, even when it doesn't look like it. And that's exactly what happened with Reggie Miller. It was just one of those situations where they thought the game was over, and this guy did the impossible.
Absolutely impossible. So let me reflect on my notes here. It says if he had kept that pace for the entire game, he would have scored 2,304 points. Now, obviously, that is an impossibility. Nobody has ever done that. However, nobody had ever done that many points in that short amount of time. So we know that that's not impossible, but let me ask you guys, why do you think he was able to make this happen? Let's have a conversation around this, because there's obviously an end game conversation here. Why do you think he was able to accomplish that? Why do you think he made that happen? Anybody? Go ahead, Dina, Tanisha, anybody.
Hey, I'll start. Let me put my camera on. Hold on, so y'all can see.
I like that.
I'm conditioning, but I think really it's because he was practicing offhand. He was practicing before he even got to the court. Like, he does this all day, every day, 12 hours a day, and then when he gets to the court, it's easy for him to shoot those baskets. So I just think practicing on your own.
Yeah. You know what? And you're on to something right here. And so we're going to continue this conversation. Good stuff. Dina, did you have an insight on that? Christina, what were you going to say?
I just said, his commitment, he was practicing, just like Tanisha said, his drive, he didn't give up.
Totally. Absolutely. So anybody else want to tell me how come he was able to make this happen?
He had a great ego.
Say again?
I said he had a great ego.
Believe.
You know,
But does
ego to think he could do it, you know?
does ego in business serve you if it's not backed with commitment?
Not at all.
Totally, right? You could have
Backwards.
this big ego, be like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make 9 points in 8 seconds. But you weren't committed to it and you didn't practice. And it was like, okay, what does the ego really mean, right? So, okay, I love that perspective, though. Absolutely love that. So he definitely had a commitment, right? Was his commitment to win declared publicly? Let's have this conversation. Was his
Yes.
commitment? Okay, why? Because he's an NBA player, right?
Right.
An NBA player, their responsibility is to win games, right? They have thousands of people in the stands. They have hundreds of thousands of people watching this game. So they've made a declaration that we are going to win this game. We have one of two things are going to happen. We're going to win or we're going to lose. They don't declare, oh my God, we're hyped up. You guys ready to lose today? Who's ready to lose with me? Raise your hand. All right, you guys, let's go out there and lose, right? It's declared. It's declared we are going to go out and win. Our fans are there cheering us on, win, 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 waving the towels, whatever they got. That's declared publicly that they're going to win. Now, the deadline was approaching, so he totally changed his behavior and performed at his highest level. Let's think about that for a second. The deadline was approaching, so he dramatically changed his behavior to give himself a completely different outcome.
Elias,
Yeah.
I had a question and observation on that. Is it possible, because I know I was reading an article where it said artists, when they have to work for pay, they usually aren't very good at their art. So is it possible that he decided, he went out on the cart and just said, you know what, I'm coming out here to have fun. I'm going to do what I know to do. And that was why he was successful. It stopped being, okay, I've got to worry about my rebounds. I've got to worry about this. I've got to worry about that. You know, I've got to control the team. And he just went out there and was him and did his thing.
And in a sense, I agree. But at that point in the game, that wasn't about fun. That was about I'm committed. And did he have a deadline? Yeah, he had 9 seconds left in the game, right? So that pressure was on him. He was committed and that deadline was approaching. So here's why I say this. It says, this is the power of commitment and deadlines. As the deadline approaches and we have a commitment, we are more intentional with our actions. Without commitments and deadlines, we can typically get off track. So this is the basis of our conversation today, right? It's one thing, and as we spoke about this week about, you know, this sheet, we're going to talk about this again in a moment. It's one thing to say that I want to do something. It's another to say that I am truly committed to doing this. All of my actions, all of my behaviors, it's because I'm committed, but then I give myself a timeline. Too many times in our business, we say, you know what? I want to make 100 calls this week. Okay. Are you committed to making the 100 calls this week, right? Well, let's give yourself a deadline. By Friday at 2:00, you're going to hit 100 calls, right? Why? Because you want that, you believe in, I'm committed to doing this. So nothing's going to stand in the way of me doing that. If something stands in my way, then was I truly committed to that, right? At that point in the game, they were committed to winning and they had a deadline. So it creates pressure on you and you change your behavior. Because I know that you guys all have been in a pressure situation. You guys have all had a commitment with the deadline. And I'm sure that you worked your asses off to get there, right? Anybody ever gone on vacation? No, Tanisha, I know you've been on vacation. So when we go on vacation, what happens that night before and that morning? We are getting everything set up. Cynthia, are you ready for vacation? So efficient, right? Everything is set. You're ready to go. It's because you have a deadline. The train is heading out the door at 12 o'clock tomorrow. I need to be ready, or I need to catch a flight at a certain time. I got to get there early. I got to have my stuff organized. I have to make sure it only weighs 50 pounds or else I'm in the line trying to unpack things and put it in the other bags, right? There is a commitment and there's a deadline. So point being, you guys, is that when we move forward and we continue to have this conversation centered around commitment, I want you guys to give yourself deadlines. I want you to say, by this time, by this day, I will achieve this. And these are the daily habits that I'm going to do and daily actions that I'm going to do in order to get there. These are the human resources that I need in order to achieve my commitments. These are the people that I need around me for support in order to get to this commitment, right? That's how you have to break these things down. You have to look at your life and say, you know what, if I'm truly, truly committed to it, then I'm going to give myself a deadline. And I'm going to do this in micro bite-sized chunks. I might not be able to say, you know what, I'm going to do this over the next 30 days, but today I'm committed to, by 5 o'clock, making 5 personal videos to clients that I haven't talked with in over 30 days. I'm committed to making 10 phone calls to clients that I haven't spoke with in over 30 days. And I'm committed to sending 20 emails out. I'm going to block everybody else out, head down, focus, because I have a deadline at 5 o'clock today. And if I don't hit my commitment, who does that let down? Does that let Kenny and me down, or does that let yourself down? Right? It's you. Like I said, we are moving into an era of ruthless personal responsibility. And I want you guys to know that. This is an era of ruthless responsibility. Kenny said it yesterday, and Kenny, correct me if I'm wrong on this. The highest form of love that we can show you is accountability. And this is not our numbers, right? We don't have an accountability board that says, come on in, put all of your numbers up, or here's our numbers for you. That's bullshit, because it's contrived and it doesn't feel real. So we are moving into an era of true personal, ruthless personal responsibility and true accountability for the things that you want to achieve in your own life. That's what this is about, right? And that was the biggest awakening for me when we went to this event, was accountability doesn't come from Kenny and I. This is all starts with you guys. So knowing that, Kenny, we talked a little bit about the Reggie Miller scores 8 points in 9 seconds, had them all pull up that video. They didn't watch it, but they're going to watch it later. Who wants to chime in on this conversation and give me any other thoughts or insight about what we just covered briefly? And feel free to take the mic, anybody.
Yeah, I feel like everything you said, and kind of going back to, the video, I kind of watched it real quickly just to refresh while you're talking. But at least my take on it, first and foremost, in that moment, and kind of when our moment comes, when you compare it to real estate, essentially when you're locked in that space and just everything is in alignment as far as like the preparation, all that goes, then it's kind of, for himself, I guarantee if you ask him, like, yeah, he says, I didn't think I could do it, but in the same breath, I can, and I did. And just all the practice that led up, how you're talking about all these details, that moment was because of all the practice, all the rebuttals that we'll see, for real estate wise, or just anything. So when it's time to hit that moment, he's been there. He's hit that shot. He's seen that defender, move. It just happened at a very fast pace, but yeah, he's made all those moves. And I feel like that's going to be us. We continuously do our, little details and continue the mental, physical, just overall, balanced preparation, that when we get to that championship moment and we can really take advantage of it, because we've been here, we've done the practice, mentally we're ready, everything is just in alignment, and now it's just time to perform. And yeah, it is what it is at that point.
That's right. When the buzzer sounds, whatever that buzzer is in your life, at the end of the day, whatever that time is, can you look back at your day and be like, I gave it everything. I left it all out on the table. I left it all out on the field, and I gave it my absolute best, right? When the buzzer sounds, did I dive for a rebound, right? Did I dive for that catch? Did I push myself, right? When that buzzer goes off, have you left everything on the field or on the court? Who else wants to chime in on this? Go ahead.
I want to chime in, please. Honestly, like you nailed it on the head. At the end of the day, it's up to us. But if it wasn't for you and this team, I thought beforehand, like, oh, I'm studying, I'm on track to get licensed. I hired a tutor. Hell no. If it wasn't for you guys, if it wasn't for people on the team like helping me, coming in the office and giving me certain tips, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I am like 200% more confident than I was 2 weeks ago, just because of you guys. You guys are helping me, keeping me accountable, keeping me on track to hit my goals. And I feel like I'm giving it my all to get prepared for this test. And at the end of the day, it's because of you guys. So I just want to say thank you. And when I pass this test, you guys are going to be the first people I'm going to be calling, and I'm going to be popping bottles. And then I'll call my family. But it's because of you guys. So thank you.
So Christina, let me ask you a question. I mean, you've been in the office, you've been working head down, focused, studying, part of our culture, part of our environment, already trying to build a brand. Like, when is your deadline? When is your test date?
June 2nd, in 2 weeks.
Okay, so urgency versus panic, right? If she wasn't studying, not a part of this culture, not a part of the environment, not having a coach to help her prep,
Wouldn't be ready.
and it comes to almost 2 weeks until she takes her test, she's like, oh my God, I need to buckle down. How is she operating then? She's operating out of a sense of panic, right? Panic is when stress, creates stress, right? She's working from pure urgency, right? Not panic. There's an urgency about what she's doing, right? And I love that. So really, really good stuff. I saw some other people chime in, shake their heads. Who else wants to chime in on this topic?
I'll go.
I was just,
Oh,
Go ahead.
you go. Okay, sure.
We'll
So
go next.
I think personally, I've gone through this the past 5.5 years of my career, working at corporate America, different jobs and different environments. I've seen this with my own eyes, how my performance changes when I am working from commitment to myself versus commitment to corporate America, and like the accountability that I have to work and I have to bring these numbers. It is almost like mediocre, like literally just like average performance to the highest performance I can ever give. And that is one of the reasons why I left, because I was like, I can't be mediocre. I can't continue to work for someone else's goals and feel like I wake up in the morning and my job is to deliver on someone else's numbers. Like that to me was just like a dead end. And I was like running out of energy. I was running out of fuel. But ever since I've been, accountable to myself, which is like, you're here to build something for yourself and for your future and your family. Like that is the biggest motivation. Like I wake up and I'm like, okay, like let's take care of you first. And then you're gonna take care of others, which are your clients. And then this environment, like this is why I came here, because that was the missing part for me. I did not have a supportive, positive environment that I could also tap into when I needed that a little bit of boost up. So this is the perfect package. It's like the motivation is there, the commitment to me is there. And then you guys, the support, that these conversations, as Christina said, it's like you come to an environment that has so much energy that just like lifts you up, gets you ready for the day. And then you just go on to continue on delivering to your commitments.
I love it. Well said. Well said. I see a couple hands raised. Tania or Ashley, did you guys want to chime in on this?
I do, just a little bit. I was
Hey, Ashley, we're having the same challenge again. You're so far away from the mic. Say again. Yeah, way better.
Okay, awesome. So I have the same challenge. I read a book once that changed my life, and it's like sometimes you have to work out of fear and out of love. As a teacher, it's such a safety net, right? Like benefits, everything, especially getting married and buying a home with my husband, and just switching over to real estate. It was such a switch for me. And to be honest, sometimes I feel like I'm working out of fear. Like, I don't want to go back to teaching. I don't want to turn my garage into a daycare. I want to turn it into a gym. And I just want a job where I feel like productive. I feel like I'm working towards me. I'm not working in a system or for someone else whose vision I'm not with. And I feel like there's no other options. And a lot of people chime in, a lot of other people have advice or here and that, like, how can you leave your job? How, you need security. And it's just, for me, real estate is one of those things where, first of all, I prove myself that I can make it in this business. And second of all, that I can, I don't have to listen to other people to live accordingly, or just because at the end of the day, if you're not living for yourself, you're living for others. And I don't think that's a life I would be grateful for or grateful to have.
Yeah.
And really, that's my deadline, right? Within a year, I have to prove that I did the right thing for me, not for others, not for my husband, not for my family, but I won't have to start applying to teaching jobs. So that's my thing. And I think that I had to quit completely for I can put pressure on me.
Yes.
I love it. And
Yes.
now you have a deadline. Like, oh, I love this. I love this. Tania, you wanted to chime in on this. All right, cool. We'll continue.
I
Go ahead.
didn't. I just hadn't lowered my hand from the last time.
All right. All right. So you guys, I love that Ashley brought this up, and I took some notes here. So we operate on two different levels as human beings. When we're pulled towards something or driven towards something, there's two things that are going to pull you and motivate you and push you in life. It's either the hope for gain or the fear of loss, right? For me, it's the fear of loss, right? And you guys might be different. For me, I know myself, it's a fear of loss. There's also, I am fearful, or excuse me, I hate to lose or I love to win. I fucking hate to lose, right? I know Kenny. Kenny hates not being number one, right? Like for him, I see him smile, like he hates the idea of not being number one. To think, look at what he achieved and being in the top 5 in the country within 1 year of people that he's brought onto the EXP family. That's because Kenny can't stand to see his name. Oh, it's number 192. No. I can't stand that. Like he hates to lose. Same with I hate to lose. I have a fear of loss, right? I don't want to go without. I don't want to be able to not provide for my son. Like that pushes me. That fear of not having a roof to put over my son's head, not being able to feed him, not being able to give him a life of abundance, I'm not okay with that, right? So it's two different ways. I appreciate you chiming in on that. Damian, you wanted to chime in a little bit earlier, so feel free.
Oh yeah, no, that was the point I was going to make. Just like you said, Kenny hates to lose and doesn't want to see himself drop from that ranking. That's the same thing with Reggie Miller. There were 4 other people on his team on the court at that time, but he felt so confident in himself and his preparation and who he was as a player that he was going to take it upon himself and win that game against all odds. And in real estate, I think that's what sets us apart as agents as well. Like when you're trying to attract clients and retain them, like why would you pick me over the thousands of other realtors that you could choose? Well, I'm going to get this done for you in the last seconds. I'm going to make sure that we do this. I just approached this yesterday with a client. They're like, we have until the end of July before we have to sign another lease. I'm like, well, okay, we're going to get it done. You know what I mean? You have to believe in your abilities as a professional to get the job done, or else they can go get it done with someone else. You know what I mean?
That's
you
right.
have the ball in your hands.
Well, what a great analogy. I mean, there's a deadline, right? So we're going to work with a sense of urgency versus wait until the last 3 weeks, hoping that things are going to happen. Now we're in panic mode. Oh my God, what are they going to do? They're going to lease us up and oh shit, right? It's like, no, I'm going to call everyone. I'm going to farm. I'm knocking on the neighbors' doors. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to talk to my team because I'm working with a sense of urgency versus working and resorting to a sense of panic, right? Because now I'm going to put them in a sense of panic. They might have kids, they might have families, so it affects a lot of people. So Kenny, obviously we talked about you and you want to chime in on this topic?
I mean, the sense of urgency or number one?
So I think the number one and making sure like we're committed, having that deadline.
I mean, I joined this company. I mean, I didn't set a goal to be number one. I just set a goal to be impactful. And then I had mentors along the way that kind of show me what to do. And, thank goodness I have a good team, because I spend most of my time researching everything I do. I'm sure you've seen Instagram. So, you know, one of the things I want to do at ESP, which is, I mean, I'm in the top 20 at ESP right now. I've out 54,000 agents for bringing on frontline, which is crazy. I mean, to think that currently, you know, the rev share component is where I'm growing, but then this multi-billion-dollar business. I mean, my GCI right now with this team is about a couple $100,000 a month, and I'm reallocating all the funds to continue to grow the team. As the team grows, it grows my clout in the EC space, which more people will join. Because then I see all these senior partners. If you guys seen the link that Cowboy event I went to, you know, I'm gonna be earning well over $100,000 a month within 2 years from this date. It's just this is how it works, and I'm actually moving faster than that, and I'm moving all that to grow my team. So the vision I had was kind of to build the dream company, taking on, you know, learning everything we learned from Climb. I mean, we're pretty much running like Climb 2.0 with the locations in Walnut Creek, San Jose come in, and the tech and all that stuff. A lot of our tech tools was from Climb. So just rebuilding this company in like the dream company, and you know, we'll get with the Dreamcast, and also being able to build that side of my business is just feeling each other. So like I won't be number one at ESP just because there's a 6 or 7 year lag time, because to get to 12 to 15,000 people, there's people ahead of me that are doing it already. But you know, I'll probably be in the top 20 within like next 6-7 years, I think, which means I might have like 12,000 people in my downline, which means I'll be making over $10 million a year, which means I can bring a bunch of money and just literally spurge and go crazy on office this year, because it's not even gonna put a dent in my account. And how awesome would it be? You just had an office like in every co-working space at every city. So that's the vision. So both sides of the business is feeling it, and you guys kind of see what I've been here 16 months. We've been here for less than 16 months, and we already accomplished this much. You know, I think we're like, if we're not, we're probably like top 3 largest teams at ESP. We're on our way to being in the top 3 in production. Daniel Beer, my mentor, was number 2 last year at 336 million. The number 1 team did 400 million, and this year Daniel's at 200 million. We're at 170. So these numbers are important to me because I'm tracking what's I'm following the leader. So I'm not the leader in the company, but I'm following what's possible at this company. And then next year, I really think we're gonna be doing about $1.6 billion, which, to give you some perspective, that will put us with the top 10 brokerages in the Bay Area. Intero did 1.4 last year. Sotheby's did 5 billion. Coldwell Banker did 3 billion. The entire East Bay, and Compass did 20. But these numbers, these are numbers I'm tracking. Not how many 1 or 2 more sales I'm doing, because it'd be kind of cool to, within like the next 2 years, build an equivalent of like have more market share than the entire Coldwell Banker Corporation in the entire Bay Area, which is pretty insane when you think about what that really means. So these are numbers I'm looking at all the time, and what I'm looking to achieve, and what I work for every day, waking up to like study all this stuff to do. But I feel like building all the assets out for the team just makes your job easier. And here people are producing at a very high level in the shortest amount of time.
And you guys, you know, takeaways from this, it's like our goal has never been like money oriented, right? Like Kenny said, I didn't want to be number 1. I just want to make the biggest impact. When you shift your mindset of, I truly want to make the biggest impact in people's lives and elevate our agent population, by doing so, we are going to be a magnet for other people that want to be in this environment. That's the right way to think, right? Do I want to be a millionaire? Absolutely. Will I be a millionaire? Absolutely. But how am I going to get there? I'm going to get there by helping you guys, right? By helping you guys grow to achieve the level of success that you want in your own lives. And, you know, to think about what's possible, look at what this company has turned into in less than 18 months, and look at where we're going. We'll be one of the fastest companies in the US to hit $1 million or $1 billion in production. It's incredible to say. And so anything is possible. Anybody else want to chime in on this topic before we shift gears? Nicole, was that you going for the unmute button? Yeah. Anybody else want to chime in? Joaquin, go ahead, brother.
So yesterday I put in my 2-week notice, and they asked me to stay for a month. Yeah. So for me, this conversation is so important because about 2 nights ago, I spoke with my wife and I said, hey, I got to go all in. Like, that's it. I'm going all in. And thank goodness she's very supportive and said, let's do it. So of course, there's a little bit of nerves and all that good stuff, right? But we're committed. We're going all in. So I just want to, the reason why I'm doing it, I think, is because of this team. right? I'm getting to a place where I'm really starting to believe, right? It's one thing to say you believe, another thing is to actually believe it. So I'm just really excited to be in this team because I feel all of you guys' energy has allowed me to be at such a place where I can make these decisions, these commitments, and I don't know. I just feel like I had to share that because I know there's a lot of people here who have part-time jobs as well or other jobs. But yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking. However, I'm very again committed, And another thing that I always do every morning, I always try to work out, and I always put increments because I feel like that's what life's about. As long as we're making progress little by little increments, it's okay. We're moving forward. So I just want to say thank you guys because you guys are a big part of that. And of course, thanks to my wife as well because she's amazing.
Dude, I literally have chills, man. I have chills. I'm so excited for you. And like you said, I got to go all in, man. We've heard you on these calls time after time and again. You have great communication skills. You lead with empathy. You have a solid social game right now. So I'm like, you have all of the components to really, really take off in this business. And look what you did. What, last week you had 1.7 on the board. It's just like, imagine if you had 20% more time to give to this business. And so, congratulations. Jen's on the line. She's going to hate that I call her and put her on the spot, but Jen was in a similar situation as you a couple of years ago. So Jen was a full-time mother, working as a paralegal and doing this on the side, to try to transition out and then to see how she's grown in her business. So Jen, I know that you hate when I put you on the spot, but do you want to chime in on that?
Yes, I do. And yes, I hate being put on the spot. Everyone knows that. But no, congratulations, Joaquin. So in 2019, when I joined Team Fast, yes, I was working as a full-time paralegal, with the benefits, security. And I think it wasn't until, so I was basically every 2 days a week, I would be at Climb. And the other days I had a flexible job as well. So basically working like 10 plus hours a day. So I think month 10, I finally was like, you know what, I need to commit to this full time. So month 10th, I, put faith in Kenny and the team and just quit my job. So then 3 months later, fucking Climb shut down. So as a single mom, now full-time in real estate. And yeah, so 2019, I did 12 deals my first year as a part-time agent. So that's when I was like, you know what, if I can just quit my job, do this full time and believe in the team, put in the work, I can be successful. So obviously pandemic hit, 5 months without the escrow, 2020, still putting in the work. I made more money in 1 year than I ever did in a year of fucking being a paralegal. And that's 5 months without the escrow. So if you put in the work, trust me, you're going to be successful. Yeah.
Jen, did you make more money this first quarter than last year?
I made not first quarter last year, but I think I'm going to make more money this year. Yeah, I'm going to make more money this year than I did ever as a paralegal in 1 year. So you did the right thing, Joaquin. Just put in the work and it's going to come.
Because it will give you a sense of, now I can really, really focus in on what I need to do. And now I'm going to work with a sense of urgency. And also I have a lot of deadlines in life, right? I know that bills need to be paid by a certain time. I know that I need to make a certain amount of money. So you're going to work with a sense of urgency. But now that you'll leave that, you are committed in a different way than you've ever been committed, right? Because it's like when you're Tarzan and you're hanging on to the other one, you're trying to swing to the next. It's like when you fully let go, right? And you hang on. So that's what this is all about, man. So I love that. And my situation is similar. So I was in corporate America, right? I was the corporate guy that it was for 13 years in corporate America, guaranteed salary, guaranteed bonuses, vacation time, benefits, everything, right? And when Kenny said, let's join forces again, but I don't know how I'm going to pay you. I can't give you a salary. We'll try to work a partnership out. But he's like, I think that we can do something again, and I would love for us to partner up again. I'm like, cool. Kenny and I courted. We danced for about 6 months. And I finally said, you know what, man, I believe in this. I believe in you. And I believe the people that are already there. Let's do it, man. And I have a baby, right? And Silas at the time was 2 years old. And I was like, I believe in this so much that I'm going to leave the salary, I'm going to leave the benefits, and I'm going to hop in. And I have never been more free in my career. I've never been more excited in my career. And as a result of me being excited and truly passionate, I'm making more money than I've made in my career. And that's just a byproduct. That literally the byproduct is just the income, right? I'm happy. I'm happy, man. And so I am super, super stoked for you.
And Elias, that was, we don't mention it a lot, but that was like, we were talking because I came over officially to EXP January 23rd. A couple of my team members came on earlier. I had to wait out some escrows. We didn't get the office till February 23rd, and then the office shut down 2 weeks later. And then me and Elias were talking from March to June. When March to June, there's nothing going on in real estate. It was like everything was shut down, but yet, we saw a vision. That week, it just saw the timing was kind of like aligning. That week that Elias came over was when, like, I think Roxanne and Jason Ellis and a couple people during that week were moving brokerages. Early pandemic, the messaging there was, like, nothing's happening in real estate, and then people were retired. There's no open houses. There's no business opportunity. We saw a opportunity in the marketplace to fill in the gap of being the brokerage, destination brokerage for people lacking. Because like many corporate companies, like where Elias was at that, they're playing it safe. The job of the sales manager is to make sure there's just production, not dry production, and make sure it keeps the company out of trouble. So they're nice and stable. This is why, like San Francisco, Coldwell Banker office has switched out 3 managers already in the last half year that my friend Gary came from, and then they can't get recruiting. So then they have to keep cutting costs, and these companies keep cutting costs. They offer less services, and people are leaving. So us, different. We came with a clean slate from Climb Real Estate, traditional splits. Came over, immediately saved it based on last year's production. I would save over 130 grand because I paid out that much to EXP Climb Real Estate based on a traditional split, which is top agents are doing 90-10 with a 4 to 6% on top. So I was like, well, if I'm saving 170 grand, I can invest 6 grand in office, sign a half-year lease just to see what happens. If this sucks, we're going to Compass. That's what we told my team. And then things started happening and it got better. I was like, okay, now that I'm still technically, I never had less production in 1 year than ever before, except for one single year in my 11-year career. I was like, well, I got another 60 grand to spend. Where can I spend this at? Okay, let me try to hire Elias or some staff. And then it just kept growing last year, 17 and 30 and 40, 50, 60. Eventually last year, the exact agent count I had was around 80 or 90 by January. And we had some attrition. Attrition means people leaving, which we actually have less than 10%, which is crazy. And now, fast forward, literally 14 months from last year, we're now floating about 125 agents and growing just insane at an insane speed. First team to get Zillow Flex, which means Zillow Flex also believed it and saw what we were doing. And then, there also, and we have many other partnerships with other companies.
It's crazy, guys. I was the 21st person at this company. 21st person. And look at right here, we have 42 people alone in this one room, right? And you see all your brothers and sisters on the team. 21st person, like just pure vision. But we were committed to creating a movement in real estate and doing something that was truly, truly a standalone and going to be different in this environment. And look what you guys have helped create. So super, super stoked. So I want to shift gears for a couple minutes, you guys. How many of you guys did this worksheet that I pulled up the other day and then we had you guys do? All right, so Christina, share with me what is on yours, and let's start with truth. We'll go to truth, reflections, revision, and the micro commitments. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I don't know if I did this right, and also again, remember I'm not licensed yet. So my truth is where am I right now? So I'm 2 weeks away from getting licensed, and I have a marketing platform, but I don't have any actual like collateral or logos yet. And okay. Number 2, what do the numbers say about you right now? So I didn't start studying hardcore until about 2 weeks ago, because when I was in the office with Jeff just gave me like a wake-up call, and he lit the fire underneath my ass, excuse me for my language, and he gave me tips.
He's great at lighting the fire.
He's amazing. And again, like I said earlier, I hired a tutor, and I'm like, can you just be my tutor? There's no comparison. And he just gave me the best tips that have leveled me up, and I just feel so prepared for this. So that's where I am. That's where my reflection is right now for my studying. And number 3, my revision. Where do I want to go now? Well, number 1, I want to pass this damn test on June 2nd. And then I'm going to begin my process with Margie, which is the lady that Kenny referred me to begin creating the website and like content. And then number 4, my micro commitments. Where do I see myself with everything, right? Is that what she said, Elias? Sorry, I was writing notes hella fast on Monday.
Micro commitments that you're going to do in order to get your vision.
Yes, so pass the test. And number 2, have my website out with photos and videos a month after I'm licensed.
And so let's take this a layer deeper. What do you need to do each and every day and commit to in order to reach this?
I'm studying from morning till night about 6 to 8 hours every single day. So starting in the morning, taking a break like for 3 or 4 hours midday, and then going till like 10 or 11 o'clock every single night.
Love it. I love it. Who else did their worksheet? Let's hear from somebody else. Let's hear from somebody that is already in production and that did this. I saw a couple go up. Did you guys not do it? PK?
I can go.
Yeah, let's go. Because I hear some apprehension in your voice, and so this is good. So I want to hear from you.
I know. So the truth, the reality is that right now I have about $2 million in production. I am putting myself out there. I'm very active on social. Almost every day I'm talking about it and sharing something. The reality of that is that I'm happy with all of that. But then on the other side of it is when we talk about reflections, what are these numbers telling me is that I worked really hard before these numbers came into production. I was so active, like so much more active than I am right now. The reality is that I told you, I was on Clubhouse every single day. That was my channel. I was putting myself out there, talking to people, meeting people, even though everything was closed and shut down, I found a way to do it. And it produced, $2 million in my business. Now, the reflection is that these numbers are telling me that I need to do that on a consistent basis. Yeah. I need to be out there now that, there's an opening, like there's opportunity to meet people face to face. I just need to put myself out there. The micro commitment is that I haven't really figured it out yet because I'm not the type of person to hand out a business card. I'm also not really the type to, cold call, as I told you. So I'm trying to figure out a nice balance between tapping into my sphere a little bit more aggressively, asking for business more aggressively, and also just I want to be in a physical environment where I'm talking to people and meeting people and just so I haven't really figured it out what is that micro commitment that I'm going to do on a daily basis, but I have an idea of it. I have an idea of.
Okay, so and let me pause you for a second. So seeing as you don't know what those micro commitments are yet, give yourself a deadline as to when you're going to know what those commitments are.
Yes.
Give yourself a deadline. That way it gives you a sense of urgency and say, well, because we could talk about this 2 weeks, I'm still kind of thinking about those commitments, right? So commit to your commitments, but put a deadline on it. And say, okay, by next Tuesday, I'm gonna be really, really clear. So I'm gonna write everything out. I'm gonna whiteboard everything. I'm gonna really, really get clear on my revision so I can understand what my new micro commitments are. So give yourself a timeline.
Exactly.
Okay? So go ahead, PK, sorry.
No, I was gonna say that part of my kind of where I am right now and why I sound a little bit more unclear is that I have this big vision of how I'm going to do it, but it's big. It's, it requires, massive production and a little bit, it's maybe a 2-year plan, not necessarily a now. So I'm trying to figure out the smaller steps to get me to that bigger vision.
Yeah. You know why it's you don't have it yet is because of this right here, this revision, right? You're on revision. And so when you do a revision, then other thoughts come in. You're like, well, wait a minute, I never thought about that. I'm going to do things a little bit different. So this revision part of it is going to help you lead to number 4, which is your micro commitment. So if you're not there yet, cool, it will come, but give yourself a deadline is when that's going to happen.
Okay.
So for the people that were not on the call on Monday, I'm going to have you just draw a line in a piece of paper and then a line across the side, a horizontal line, and just make 4 boxes. In the top left corner, it's going to be truth. The truth is your numbers right now, right? What is the truth about your numbers? Number 2, and the one down below that on the left-hand side, that's going to be reflections. What do the numbers tell about you right now? Number 3, which is in the bottom right corner, that's your revision. Based on your observations, where do you want to go now? And I think that PK is a clear example of where she wants to go now, right? And in the top right corner, this is micro commitments. Commitments are built, or excuse me, vision is built on the back of commitments, right? So if you break that down, this is a great little worksheet for you guys to start to really understand, well, first off, where am I, right? What do my numbers say about me? And what do my numbers tell about me? All right, well now, based on my observations, well, man, I really don't think that I was truly focused on that because my numbers aren't showing that. I didn't make any calls, so was I really committed to that goal of making $200,000? What's my revision? Now that I'm refocused and have a revision, what are my micro commitments that I'm going to do each and every day? And then to go a step further, put yourself some timelines. We had said the other day, give yourself when am I looking back? What are my reflection date ranges? Am I looking at the past 3 months, for example, PK? Am I looking at the last 6 months or am I looking at the last year? And then when I think about my revision date range, how do I want to gauge this out? All right, for the next 3 months, PK, this is what I'm going to focus on, right? So you're not trying to say, oh, 2 years, 3 years, like micro or bite-sized chunks like Joaquin was saying. So when you think about what is my reflection date 3 months ago? Now my revision date 3 months forward, it helps you to compartmentalize this so you're not too all over the place with your thoughts. I absolutely love this. We're going to continue to dive into this. So I want to challenge each of you guys. By 8:30 on Friday morning, I want you guys to have the framework of this done. We'll work together on this. If you have questions about this, if you need help with this, hit me up, let me know, but start the framework. Our deadline as a group and group coaching will be 8:30 on Friday. If for some reason you don't do it, then the question is, why didn't you do this? And what other things in your life are you saying I'm gonna do and didn't do and why so, right? So this is a great opportunity for you to reflect personally as well as professionally. So let's all commit to doing that. Do I have you guys' commitment that you guys are gonna do this by 8:30 on Monday morning? Or excuse me, Friday morning. Okay, cool, cool. All right, guys, so we have about 5 minutes. Awesome, thank you, Jen, appreciate that. Any thoughts or any takeaways from today's group coaching before we head out? And feel free to chime in. Go ahead, Amy.
Hi. So I was just raising my hand saying I'm committed, but in any case, I think one thing is that we have to actually realize what we want and then make it happen. And committing and writing it on paper again really holds you accountable so that you can actually make it happen. Otherwise, you're just coasting and not really doing anything. So I think you're really encouraging us to do that.
Totally. And I'm glad you chimed in. And so think about it this way. Do I want it or am I committed to doing it and having it? Right? Do I want it or am I truly committed to having this in my life? Who else wants to chime in? Kelly, first time in group coaching for you. First off, takeaways from this session and then takeaways from the group at large.
Well, I think this is great. And just from today's session and the meeting yesterday, I'm just so excited to be here. I was at EXP, I've been at EXP since the end of December, and I was working with another mentor and that kind of didn't go the way that I had thought it would go. And so it's great because it led me here, but I'm just seeing such a different world and I'm so excited about it. And so excited to see where it's going to take my business and everything.
Awesome. Well, it's so good to have you here and thanks for being here. let's hear from one other person as we wrap up. Tanisha, she's ready. She gave you a thumbs up. Let's go ahead, Tanisha.
Good morning. So I'm new. I just got licensed last month. So what would be like, I'm still trying to find my flow. How would I do this?
Okay, so I'll connect with you offline and I'll help you get a baseline for that.
Okay.
But takeaways from this session.
Oh, you guys are fire. Like, I'm ready to sign up. I've been here for almost like a week. I'm just like ready for the paperwork. I love the motivation. And when you were talking about commitment, as you see, I have the scrunchy bag, but I was committed to making this meeting. So I was like, do I rinse out my hair or do y'all just see me in my natural?
Hey, you and your natural, that's what this team is all about, right? So good stuff.
I feel that.
Natural, brother. Yeah. So it's like I'm very committed to being here. And my deadline was 8:30 this morning. So it was like either rinse it out or be here. But I love y'all. You guys are fire. You guys pump me up for the day, especially with these 8:30s. I appreciate you guys.
All right, you guys. So unfortunately, I would love to go around the room and hear from more, but Jen and I have a call, and the call is, how do you think you guys could sell our home in Morgan Hill if you don't live here? So we're up for a challenge right now. We're hopping on a call at 9:30 with them. So you guys, fire session. I'm going to put this in Slack like I always do. I'm going to upload it to YouTube. I encourage you to share this with other people in our industry, other people that are looking for growth, change, excitement, something different, something new, collaboration, collective wisdom, because I think that you guys are doing really, really powerful work in this room. So once again, I'm super grateful for you guys. Thank you for attending once again, and I'll see you guys on Friday, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye, you guys.